Hey there, welcome back to Heartfelt Hustle podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today because we are diving into something that I believe holds a lot of entrepreneurs back, whether they realize it or not. We are going to be talking about fear. Now that we are entering quarter four, and if you are like most business owners, this time can feel like a rat race or even just a race approaching the finish line. The pressure to hit our goals, to meet deadlines, and finish the year strong can bring up a lot of fears and hesitation. Even when you know what you need to do, still you would literally be like, oh my God, so many things. How am I going to get it done? Or you just, feel like you've hit a block and you just not sure how to move further ahead. And I've definitely been there myself. Fear has shown up in my journey in so many sneaky ways, and I have seen it happen with my clients too. Fear can be incredibly paralyzing. But here's the thing, fear doesn't have to hold you back. And today, we are going to talk about how fear might be sneaking into your business, into your life, and how you can start recognizing it, how you can move past it. Because guess what? I did move past mine, and I want to share how I made it work for me, for my clients, so on and so forth. So, we are going to be talking about taking bold action, moving further from here now, and keep moving forward. So, are you ready? Let's dive in. Welcome to Heartfelt Hustle, the podcast that dives deep into the heart and hustle of entrepreneurship, where our dreams meet reality and where our passions fuel our success. I'm your host, Sushmita Jain, a loan strategist and operations director, founder of an outsourcing agency. Most of my clients call me their right-hand woman, and most importantly, a curious soul as well as a nerd. I am here to share my experiences. I am here to share my insights. I am here to share practical tips that will help you build a thriving and a sustainable business. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur, a seasoned business owner, or someone looking to infuse more heart into your hustle, I am here, and this podcast is for you. Each week, we'll dive into topics ranging from reconnecting to your passions, your soul, your why, and overcoming the roadblocks of your growth journey. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's dig into this heartfelt hustle together. So now that you know today's topic, first things first, let's talk about fear and how it can often show up in a business, especially when we are approaching big milestones or even events like quarter four. Fear can take many different forms, and sometimes we don't even recognize it for what it is. But if you know what you're looking for, you can start to see how it is holding you back. And here are some of the most common fears I have seen in business owners, and maybe, who knows, you might be experiencing or you might resonate with any of them, or you might resonate it with any of them with maybe someone you know who might be experiencing it at the moment as well. And you could share this episode with them, right? So let's go further in. So, before any delay, let's start with the first fear that I want to talk about is fear of failure. Now, this I know is a big one. It's that inner voice saying, what if I try and it does not work? The fear of failure can keep you from even starting because you're trying to avoid the possibility of things going wrong. But remember one thing, every failure brings you closer to figuring out what works. I mean, if you're not going to try that launch idea, or if you're not going to try a certain product idea that you have, or like an offer idea that you have, how are you going to get feedback? How are you going to understand what is it that works in your business and what is it that you need to learn from and move further ahead? So let's stop and let's not get fear of failure hold us back anymore in our business, but rather let's start looking at things in a different perspective, right? So we will be talking about how you can overcome this, definitely, for sure. But I want you to start understanding one thing. Start looking at every single thing you do in your business as an experiment. I mean, I know I come from science background. I am someone who has worked in labs, and maybe that's the reason why looking at everything as an experiment comes naturally to me, or I have been programmed slowly while I was studying to look at everything as an experiment. I'm not sure about that, but you can start trying it out from now on as well. Start looking at every single thing you do in your business as an experiment. Make notes, come up with conclusions, make inferences, write your own research papers if you need to, even just for your own reference, or you can obviously share it later on with your clients, and those can be like literally gold for your clients as well. So whatever it is, just try it out, test it out, share with me if you like this idea. And once you start testing it out, how does it make you feel as well, right? Next, I want us to stop and start thinking about one more thing. Like, have you ever noticed that success can also be scary as fuck? Like, oh my God, I said the word, right? But it is sometimes. Like, we do fear success, and believe it or not, success can be just as scary as failure. You might fear that achieving the goals will bring in more responsibilities. Achieving your goals will bring in more pressure to move past what you might just want to achieve at the moment. Or it even might change the dynamic of your life in ways you're not maybe even ready for yet. So there's so much. Like, there is so much I could talk about when it comes to fear of success as well. But again, if you want it, you have to start working towards it. Because the truth is, success can be overwhelming if you're not mentally prepared for it. But once you start taking those baby steps, I know I am a mom of a toddler, and that's the reason why, some of my inferences might come as a reference from my toddler. But like, when we see kids starting to learn or starting to even understand how and when they can start moving, they their first step is not them literally running towards us, right? They are gonna crawl, they're gonna roll over, they're gonna try a bazillion different things. And when for the first time, when they do walk towards us, they don't have that fear in their eyes that, oh my God, I'm successful now, I'll have to keep on walking all my entire life. Do they feel that way? They don't, right? They rather just cherish that moment. They're so fucking excited that, oh my God, I'm walking, I'm doing something for the first time. I am moving further towards someone I really love. And they're just excited, they're just happy, they're just, and so are we. We're cheering them. We are just, being the bestest cheerleader they can ever have. So your audience is the best cheerleader you can ever have. I'm sure you have your friends who are going to be cheerleading you as well. They're going to be supporting you. You have your mentors. You have me if you want to share your success with me. So obviously, yeah, you can do that, right? But yeah, so let's not go on a lot of tangent. But yeah, coming back to the topic. So yeah, success can be overwhelming, but that's what we all are working for, right? That's what step by step we want to accomplish. So I fear it, you know? Why just hold yourself back? And it's a big one, but you can work on it. You've got this. Always remember that, right? Next, what I want us to talk about is fear of visibility. This fear is a very big or a very huge one in the online space, or maybe if I might not be, like, if I don't actually focus on the online space or not, at the moment, I think every single one does in one way or the other fear visibility because, like, if our social media accounts are not closed, there's a chance we might get viral. There's a chance we might get a lot of visibility and exposure, isn't it? But when it comes to this fear of being seen, and when you are putting yourself out there for judgment as an online business owner, the truth is you're not putting yourself out there for judgment. You're rather putting yourself out there for connections. You're putting yourself out there to find the right set of people. Whether you are launching a new offer, whether you're showing up on social media, whether you are speaking in front of your audience, the fear of visibility can hold you back from fully stepping into your potential. You might be thinking, what would literally people think of me? Or what would people think of what I have to say? Or is anyone even going to resonate? But look at me right now. Like, this podcast is 2 months old. I was not even going to have a podcast few months prior from now. But here I am having this conversation with you and you're listening to me. And I'm so grateful to have you because, and the stats keep growing, which makes me so happy because what if I would have let myself or let the BS in my head hold myself back from actually starting this podcast? Would we really be having this conversation? Yes, I might have had this conversation with my clients because we do talk about all of these things, whether it's my membership, whether it's my one-on-one clients, whether it is the launch clients who we are working with and supporting them behind the scenes. Yes, I might have had this conversation, but this is different. This is me sharing my vulnerabilities with you, but from a different perspective. And the same applies for you, because here's the truth. There are people out there who need your message, and you won't reach them unless you show up. In fact, you won't even know there are people who need your message unless and until you start talking about it. So, stop being judgmental because no one here is here to judge you. In fact, this is a fear we are projecting on ourselves, whereas there are people who, you might be actually sneakily having an eye on who you do might feel that, you could do something much better than them, but yet you are here holding yourself back. So let's stop that right now, and rather let's show up just the way you are and see where the journey takes you, isn't it? I mean, I do understand it is scary. Like, I do remember the first time I did go live and I thought no one actually would watch my live video. And I was literally shitting my pants. I was like, oh my God, I have decided to go live. I had accountability because I was, part of and I am part of that community still. So I had an amazing community. We all were cheering, again, cheerleaders, just like we said before. So I have, like my inner circle or my extended family. I knew they would be there, so I knew there would be that set of audience. But apart from that, oh my God, I had no idea what I had to expect. I had my bullet points for the topic we needed to talk about, and the first few seconds felt like a lifetime because I was like, oh my God, this is so scary. But once I was just having fun, having conversations with people, and you know what? I had 49 people watching me live on my live video. I just decided, and when I made that decision, that I'm just going to have fun, whatever happens, whatever people feel, they just feel it. That's none of my business. I can decide what I feel. I can make the decision of how this experience is going to be for me. And when I made that decision, everything changed. I was having my, literally, I was just having fun. I was having a conversation. I was sharing what I wanted to talk about, and time flew. Like, once I just got started with live videos, I was doing like 1 or 2 hour live video streams. Of course, I don't do them anymore, but you get my point. Once you try it, once you are in your zone and you start understanding how you can start being more visible, that's what you double down on. As simple as that. I mean, look at me right now. I'm not doing live videos, but here we are talking and having a conversation via my podcast, right? Similarly, I'm creating Instagram Reels. So if you're someone who is not connected with me on Instagram yet, make sure you do, because every single day, I do try and initiate a conversation or just share or, just talk about bits or reflections, or I have one or the other topic which can help you with business that I do, share my reflections on, give how-tos about, or even there are Notion tutorials. So there's so much happening there on my Instagram. But of course, I had to find my flow. I had to find my real content creation style, which still I'm kind of exploring, but that's the fun bit, right? I test, I see what works, I see what I am liking, I see and try and test what others are liking, and I'm not being judgmental about anything. And if anyone else is being judgmental, well, that's okay. That's what they are choosing to do. So you don't have to worry about it, right? Next, fear of making the wrong decisions. Like, ever found yourself stuck in analysis paralysis? I know that is kind of, go smoothly. Anyways, so you're so worried about making the wrong decision that you end up making no decision at all, whether it's choosing the right strategy, whether it is that, oh my God, am I investing in the right tools? Or am I hiring the right person? Or should I just not hire anyone? This fear can literally slow you down so much. Like, you just invest your time in so many other bits that then you're like, oh my God, this is just taking too much time. I would rather not waste my time on this, and I would instead just keep on doing things the way they were happening before, because at least there was progress. Ever been there? I know many of you guys are, and many of the people who I have conversations with have the same issue as well. But the thing to remember here is that there's no perfect decision. Like, no, there's no perfect decision. You know, you learn by taking action and adjusting along the way. Pivot. Remember what Ross told us. Pivot. I guess I'm not saying pivot if it's still not working, like the way they were trying to carry the couch. That's not the way it is. If you do, or if you have ever watched Friends, you would understand what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, ignore. I just love Friends, any which ways. Next, fear of rejection. Ah, the fear of hearing no. You know, it's something every entrepreneur faces. What if someone says no on a sales call? What if I connect with someone and ask them to be on my summit and they say no? What if I invite someone to be on my podcast and they say no? What if I want to be on a podcast as a show host, or like as a show guest, but they say no? Well, you might hesitate to pitch your services. You might hesitate to pitch yourself. You might hesitate to even raise your prices, launch your offers, whatever it is that you might hesitate for or about or think about it and just not get it done. Hesitation is just gonna build on a lot of resentment. And plus, the rejection is also gonna weigh you down. So, definitely, that's not the way to move ahead. I mean, rejection is part of the process. Each no is just fine. You just move on and try and find the next yes. As simple as that, right? Next is the fear of being too much or not enough. Again, I'm sure a lot of you can resonate with this, because this fear comes from either doubting your self-worth. Maybe you're afraid of being too much, too bold, too outspoken, too different, or you fear you're not an expert enough to put yourself out there, to even talk about the topic, to even write a social media post about the topic. Either way, this fear can cause you to dim your amazing sparkle, which we don't want to do, by the way. And then you, again, do not end up showing up, or you do not end connecting with your audience, or people just don't know what you do, or people just don't even know you exist. So remember, the more you show up as your true self, and the more you test out things, the more you'll attract the right clients who value you exactly for what you bring to the table. So I will always want you to remember this, right? And the last fear I have for you on this list is the fear of overcommitment. This fear can be about stretching yourself too thin. I have seen so many business owners who want to launch group programs, so many business owners who want to launch their memberships, so many business owners who want to try an idea out, but they're afraid that if you say yes to something new, then you are going to get overwhelmed or burnt out, or, oh my God, it's just going to be too much work. As a business owner, especially if you're juggling multiple responsibilities like family, other projects, you have other bits you need to work on, maybe you have a job as well, or you want to do different things in life, this fear can help you from scaling or launching that next offer. But if it is something that you're craving for, I would say there's a way you can make it happen. So, all that is needed is for you to sit, brainstorm, or have a conversation with someone who you trust and who would help you map this out. Or be part of a community where you can discuss all of these things. I mean, these are the kind of things we discuss in my membership as well. So if you want to join my membership, always remember that you can get in touch and we can discuss. Right now the doors are closed, but you can, join and be on the waiting list as well. So yeah, anyway, Trace, now that we've talked about quite many fears and it is turning out to be a really long episode than I expected it to be, I want us to move to the next segment of this episode, which is how is the cost of letting fear take control affecting you? Because, what happens when you let fear control your actions? I know this might feel a little uncomfortable, but it is so important to acknowledge this. And that's exactly why we are having this discussion today. Because when fear is driving, your journey or being the deciding factor of your journey, it will push you to keep playing small. It prevents you from taking all these risks that you need to do or take, and plus, in doing so, it keeps you from the opportunities that can lead you to growth. Especially, now that we're talking about Q4, when the year is coming to an end and people are ready to make decisions, fear can make you hesitate at the exact moment you need to move. Fear can also lead to mislead revenue opportunities. You just miss on opportunities. I have had a client who, she used to have her inbox full of messages from people who were interested in working with her. But there was this block, there was this fear of, overcommitment, and that's exactly why I did mention it in the previous list of fears, is because she would just not get back to them, which led to missed revenue opportunities. And I don't want you to be someone who is experiencing something similar. It can make you hold yourself back from, launching your offers out, or even from, like I said, raising your prices. But, here's the thing. If you have people coming to you, or if you are not showing up, or if you are just overcomplicating things for yourself, you are just making your life difficult. So the cost of letting your fear hold you back is not just, leading to lost opportunities, lost growth, or lost impact. It is also affecting your mental health. And if you have felt that tension lately, the feeling that you could be doing so much more, but you're not sure what's holding you back, it's fear that's holding you back. So, time to address the elephant in the room, right? And now that we've started slowly identifying that, it's the fear and the cost of letting these fears take things over in your life, I want us to move and discuss right now is that how to step boldly from now on, or step into your, you know, upgraded version or your next era or whatever you want to call it, or just talk about quarter four so that you can build momentum for the next year as well, however you want to look at it. What can you do to move forward with confidence, even if fear is still there in the background? Because fear is not just going to disappear, like, oh my God, she's listening to this episode. I better just, take a back seat and just disappear so that as if I never existed. But that's not how fear operates. No, yeah, that's not happening. So I did give you guys some hints, and this is the most important bit you need to start working towards, is that shifting your mindset. The first thing you need to do is reframe how you think about fear. Instead of seeing it as a red flag or something to avoid, oh my God, I just can't go that way. Rather, see it as a sign that you're growing and stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? Because, I've realized this. Fear and excitement feel very, very similar in our body. So just be mindful next time. Are you experiencing fear, or is it kind of excitement but nervousness at the same time, right? So try and reframe it as excitement for what's possible. What are the amazing possibilities once I start testing things out, once I start doing things, and just take things ahead from there. Next, take small but bold steps. You don't have to tackle everything in once. Like, you cannot climb Mount Everest before you have even tried or even trained yourself for a climb. And you will have to finish many more summits before you actually finish or climb the Mount Everest. So similarly, you don't have to tackle everything you want to do in one go. Sometimes the most powerful way to move past fear is to start with the smallest step possible. So think about it. What's one action you can take today that moves you in the direction of your goal? Baby steps, but steps taking you in the direction further. So whether it's maybe sending an email, whether it is you recording a video, whether it is you doing a social media post, whether it is you sending a message to someone you wanted to send, or pitch yourself to, start with that one step and let that momentum build up from there, right? Next thing that I want you to start thinking is the power of visualization. Take some time to you just, think about it. Start making notes around what maybe success in quarter four looks like for you. What is it that you would like to do, and start, instead of making random goals, just really tap into what you want to accomplish and make an action plan based on that. And once you start tapping in what you're really craving for, you can start visualizing it. And obviously there are tools like meditation and stuff. I'm not a meditation expert, but I do meditate every single day. I do visualizations. I work with my coach with all of these tools. So if you're someone who does meditation, who is into visualization, start implementing it. And if you're not someone who is not into meditation, visualization, and all of those kind of things, here's something I want you to try. No need of a meditation app, no need of you don't need anything fancy here at all. Rather, picture this. Like, maybe sit on your desk, or like what is it that you truly want to accomplish by this year end, and what you feel is realistic. Now, once you do that, you start working on your plan because you're being realistic for yourself. But once you start working towards this, you will slowly and steadily start looking at the bigger picture as well, right? And when it comes to you stepping into like your next version or your updated or upgraded version, however you want to call it, I want you to always remember one thing. You don't or you shouldn't do things alone. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a mastermind group you sign up and be part of, whether you have an accountability partner, whether you're part of a membership, whether you are part of a networking community. That's also going to make a big impact on how you like work on things. You have someone to bounce ideas with, and it makes things so much easier. So when you have a strong support system, it's much easier to take those steps. And even when fear is still present, you can start working on things one by one. So to bring these strategies to life, you have to, again, start working on it step by step. It's important to remember that fear will always be there, but the difference is whether you let it control you or you use it as a you use it as a fuel to move forward. So let's wrap up today's episode because, oh my God, it's a long one. But I want you to ask yourself, where is fear showing up in my business right now? And what bold step can I take to push past it? Just, take a pen and paper and write this question down and make your notes around this. Even this is getting you closer to the next action plan that you will get working and in action mode. So, yeah, remember, fear doesn't have to hold you back, but by shifting your mindset, taking small steps, small but bold and mighty steps, visualizing your success and surrounding yourself with the right people, you can step up boldly and plus keep building your momentum forward into the next level of your business. So if you are ready to push past your fear, and if you're still listening to this episode and you are craving and looking forward and working towards stepping into the next level of your business, I invite you to join my membership. It's a space where we work through challenges just like this, and I would love to support you, and I would love to be working with you, helping you bring your ideas, your vision to life. So you can right now join the waiting list by clicking the link in the show notes. That's it for today. See you in the next episode. Bye for now.